Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Welcome to episode 53 of It All Boils Down to This. As you can tell, we are not in the studio today as they're redoing the studio. We're going to be moving to the new podcast studio at WCTV, hopefully next week, where Jack will get to sit in a nice, lovely chair, look a little bit different. And we did miss last week. Jack was a little bit under the weather for the week, so we didn't get the show in. But a lot happened in 2 weeks, Jack. I'd like to, again, we'll start with college football, but I just want to get your opinion on 2 weeks ago. Alabama lost to Vandy, and then last week they just snuck by South Carolina. What's your opinion on Alabama?
I forgot we didn't talk about Alabama, but again, I was right about that after the Georgia game. I basically said like Alabama's not winning that. Alabama's not gonna that was my take, was Alabama's actually bad, or Alabama's doesn't want to play Georgia again. I didn't realize they weren't gonna be Vanderbilt. So Alabama's toast. They're in a tough spot. We'll see where that coach goes in the next couple of years. But Alabama, yeah, they're in trouble. Again, they still can make the college football playoff. But yeah, losing to Vanderbilt, that's stunning. I forgot we didn't even talk about that. Horrible.
And then
Alabama, this is a year we don't college football doesn't need Alabama right now, and this is probably a year that we're not going to have them as one of our top 4 teams at least.
Yeah, but with 12, I think they still have a chance. I think the one thing I noticed this last couple of weeks is the SEC is eating its own. I mean, again, they've got a big game this week. Every week there's big games, and we're starting to see the Big Ten's going to start to eat their own too. And how does that impact really? We didn't go and think 4 Big Tens and 4 SECs or 3 and 3, that gets to 6. How does the fact that they're beating off each other really impact the final?
It doesn't. I told you this at the start of the year. It's like a 4-loss or a 3-loss Big Ten team's getting in over a 2-loss Big 12 team or whatever. So that's always going to be the case. And the cannibalism of the Big Ten has already started as Oregon. That was Oregon beating Ohio State.
That's the next game on my list.
Ohio State, that's another team where Ohio State's going to make the playoff. They're going to play in that first weekend of the playoff where they don't get the bye, probably most likely, and they'll kill the team they play. And they could end up still winning the Big Ten, but that coach is an idiot. They'll never win a national championship. That Ohio State team disgusts me. Honestly, they do. They're just like a fake team.
The fake team, and they went to Oregon, only lost, I think, what was it, 2-point loss. They had the ball, a chance to win, and Dan Lanning pulls the 12-man on the field trick where they now changed the rule because of it, where you get a 10-second runoff. It was sort of like a little bit tricky and not ethically up there, but he used the rules to his advantage.
Well, he's smarter than the other coach. That's quite simple.
What?
He's smarter than the other coach.
Well, everyone's smarter than Ryan Day. Ryan Day
yeah.
Right. But again, you go on the road to Oregon. I think Ohio State's going to make the tournament. But again, if there's only going to be 3 Big Ten teams, there are still teams they have to beat to survive. The next game was 2 games. My 2 biggest games of the weekend were both Big Ten games. And Penn State went into USC and was down big, not big, but down. And they came back and won. Is this the year James Franklin actually wins the Big Ten? Or is this
they play Ohio. I'm pretty sure they play Ohio State coming up at some point. So like that's the game where it's I don't know if that's at home or if that's.
I think that's at home. I think there's an off there.
Okay, that's the game. But Penn State, it's just the way it's worked this year, where like Alabama's lost and these teams have lost. Where it's like Penn State right now is like I think 3rd in the country. That has to be the highest been post Paterno and all that, right? They've probably never been ranked 3rd in the country. So they're 3rd right now, but it still is no different than any other Penn State team under Franklin. They still have to win the game. Like they still have, if they don't beat Ohio State, if they don't beat Oregon, if they don't win the Big Ten, like it's still the same Penn State team that we've always seen with James Franklin. So they have to win the game against Ohio State. That's the biggest game. But they're good. They're good. That was a big win for them.
You have to give Drew Aller credit. We've been pitching.
Yeah, I said he wouldn't start for UMass. I mean, something's flipped on him. He was so bad. He's the worst quarterback I've ever seen last year.
New offensive coordinator. The switch coordinators.
Yeah, so I don't know that game. That's my Penn State take. Penn State's good, but they got to beat Ohio State.
And then 3 teams that are really, I think 3 teams that will make the playoffs that are not surprising. Texas, number 1, is they go in the SEC and they're winning. They got a big game this week. Back to Ewers as quarterback. I think they probably could start Arch Manning and still have a shot to win the national championship. But again, this is their big week now. They beat up on Oklahoma, which seems to be everybody except Temple beats up Oklahoma. I got the three teams that just are lurking about, and I know you're going to hate my third one. The next team for me is Clemson. I mean, I want you to bring Dabo back for the world.
I've said this. I said that after the first loss against Georgia. I told you this. I told you they'll probably win out and be in the playoff. Get a bye in the playoff. I'm a Clemson guy. I told you this.
Well, they're going to win. I think they win the ACC.
Yeah.
They'll have to beat Miami most likely to win the ACC. But again, that loss doesn't kill you anymore. Just like Alabama losing to Vandy, it doesn't kill them right away. Now playing like shit over the next week, so now they have the 2 losses. It sort of puts you on a weird spot. But no, they have 1 loss. They lost to Georgia.
That game is actually, if you think about it, Clemson and Georgia the first week of the year, like that game now. An out-of-conference game the first week of the year is the most irrelevant game ever now. Because, like Clemson, like I said, you could lose that game 100-0. As long as you win out, you get a bye. You're in the final 8.
Yeah.
It's just an irrelevant game. So that's
well, especially because Clemson's in the ACC, it's a different world. I think the 2 big conferences and the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's an out-of-conference,
are going to be elevated.
Well, that's what those games have to be. The first week. It has to be the Big Ten versus it has to be Alabama versus Ohio State. It has to be Michigan versus Georgia. It has to be Texas versus Penn State. That's what it has to be.
Especially since I think you're absolutely right. We will see a 3-loss team in the tournament. I think you're right. I think at some point one of those.
Oh, obviously,
Ohio State.
It's not 2-loss teams. You're not going to put a 2-loss like a 2-loss Big 12 team in over a 3-loss. Ole Miss or something like that. You're just not.
Ole Miss and Tennessee. And
how about LSU? What if LSU only?
That's another good one.
That's the team again. We should talk about our locks after we're.
What about
the other game?
Texas A&M.
I could care less. I don't even follow Texas A&M. They're like a college football team that I have so little respect for. I don't care about them at all. I don't even. I'll look at box scores when I go when I'll check the scores. I'll look at schools. LSU is one of those schools, like Penn State. I'll look at Michigan, Ohio State. Texas A&M never even crossed my mind to look at their scores. They're just it's an irrelevant school. No, never. Even when they had Jimbo Fisher, who I was a fan of.
Okay, true.
Anyway, but so what were the locks? The locks you had. What was your lock? Because now we're not going there. The locks. We're
not going there. Okay, no. My lock was I thought Alabama would cover 21 points over South Carolina. I lost early. I was out early. Chris had what was Chris's lock?
Chris had some that won because
No, Chris lost. We both Chris lost this week.
So Chris is a game. Chris has to double up on a pick. So Chris is a game behind.
We talked. I just texted him now. I need your picks recording. Chris lost. Did he have Indiana? No,
I don't know.
No,
and he had some stupid. But the best lock was Kevin. Kevin picked some. Kevin picked Rutgers. That game it was 14-0 before the game even started.
Rutgers was
He's not even losing right now. He's like 0-7. He's getting killed. It's not even close.
Yeah,
it's honestly it's remarkable. I was thinking my lock this week really should just be wait to see what he picks.
Yeah, and pick the opposite.
But that's when he'll finally he's got to win eventually.
Eventually,
he has to. But no, my lock that LSU game, that LSU Ole Miss game was a great college football game. I was yelling at that quarterback for 3.5 quarters. And then at the end of the fourth quarter, quarterback and overtime turns into Tom Brady. He makes an insane throw on 4th down, makes a big play in overtime. That LSU defense, Brian Kelly, that's another Clemson-like team where it's like they have talent, they have a good defense, they're going to be there.
Coach.
They're well coached. Yeah.
Right.
Dabo, and as much as people hate them and as much as I hate them too, those two guys, Brian Kelly and Dabo Swinney, they're good coaches. They're very good coaches.
The funny part about that game was there's no reason Ole Miss should never have lost that game. Right?
Yeah.
They miss a field goal in overtime. They give up a big play. I don't know. Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, but again, LSU's defense needed to play. And like I said, the reason I picked they were struggling with the crowd in the 3rd and 4th quarter. It was late. It was night. That's why I picked that as my lock, and it came through. So look at that. We're tied up. 6
we're
and
also
1. We're having a great year. Kevin,
so
we don't even need to hear. I don't even think it's like mathematically possible. Like we'd
Kevin.
almost have to lose out, and he'd have to win out
Okay.
for Kevin.
So Kevin is 0-7 or 0-6, 0-6.
I don't know what we're at. It's either
And you're
I think
5-1.
it's 0-7, and we're 6-1, and Chris is 5-1.
Well,
I actually think he's that bad. He's 0-7.
I
That's
think
like horrendous.
is this week 9 this week? Hold on.
It really, honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what our records are. We'll figure it out. It does. We're tied, and Chris is one behind us, but it's a half game.
In essence, Chris is still tied with us.
Whatever. We've spent too long. What's your pick this week? We don't have any of that.
First,
I get mine.
I want to go with one more. I want to throw one more team out at you that I've been looking at. Notre Dame. Okay.
Yeah, another team.
I know they lost that game, and we talked about this at home. We didn't get to talk about it because that loss to NIU is still worse than Vanderbilt, right? But they've got upcoming. They got both service again. Army and Navy are both undefeated. All right. And they're going to get an opportunity to knock both those teams off, which will elevate it. I think Notre Dame is in, even if they lose one more game. I think they're going to get in. Depends who they lose to, but I think Notre Dame's in. And that's for my buddy Kevin when he watches this.
All right, who are they playing? Pick them. They're playing Georgia Tech, 11-point favorites.
And I'm telling you, I think they'll make the tournament. I already have my pick ready to make. What's your pick this week?
My pick, so big noon kickoff. I got to listen to stinking Gus Johnson. But Nebraska's going into Indiana off a bye. 6.5-point underdogs, Nebraska. They're going to win this game outright. Make a statement going to Ohio State after this. Easy one this week. We'll be 7-1. They're going to win this game. And Nebraska's, there's no way they don't win this game. And
Okay, so
I give 6.5 points. They're going to win the game.
Are they at Indiana?
Yeah.
Road underdog in Indiana?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to go with my good buddies, the Bulldogs of Georgia, going into Texas as a 5.5-point underdog and take the Georgia Bulldogs.
That's not a bad pick. No.
Yeah, you know what? The SEC's been good to me this year, except for Alabama, and I'm done with Alabama. I have not heard from Chris. Have you heard from Kevin?
No, but it doesn't. Georgia, I don't know. I don't know if Georgia's any good. This is the game for Texas where Texas can really prove, like Texas can almost, in my mind, win the national championship here. Because if they beat up on Georgia here, no one's beating Texas. They're just not, and they could be at that level. We'll see.
That's true. That's true. It's a big game, but again, it's the SEC game where Georgia got the loss, Alabama's got the loss, Texas is gonna have. If Georgia wins, Texas got the loss.
Well, yeah, I understand.
LSU's got a loss. LSU lost to Texas A&M, right? No, I forget about.
I don't know. LSU lost to I don't know. They almost lost to South Carolina. I think they did lose to Texas A&M, by the way. But yeah, that's beside.
So again, the SEC and the Big Ten will be very interesting. Other things, just the top three. Which is kind of strange, is Texas, Oregon, Penn State. Penn State, like you said earlier, has finally cracked in that top 5. Of those three teams, who do you have most confidence in to continue to advance?
Texas. I just think they're, like I said, they're probably the best team. So I'll add Texas.
And I like Texas. I'm gonna give a shout out to Oregon only because I think they're battle tested. They haven't made the big trip east. They don't got to play Penn State, and they beat Ohio State. So who knows? I didn't look the schedule. I think Penn State of those three, I'd be the team I will see losing. I think they have the bye week this week. Then they have Wisconsin and Ohio State and Wisconsin. They got 2 big games coming up. They're at home against Ohio State, probably have a whiteout. And James Franklin will find a way to screw it up. So that's for you, Robert Immendorf, if you're watching out there, your Penn State and Indy Lions. The other thing, we didn't get to talk about it. You and Justin and Chris and Kevin all went to UNH versus Harvard at Harvard Stadium, which is an FS Football Championship Series Division I. I just want to get your impressions of the game, the quality. Was it fun? I know you spent a ton of money on food, but was it fun? And
yeah. We're bringing up these things from like 2 weeks ago. I don't even remember. Yeah, it was a good game. UNH really, they sucked in the second half. They had a real good first quarter. They should have won the game. They had more talent. That's one of those losses where you do lose sleep over it because you look back and you're like, we should have won that one. But no, UNH, it was good. The stadium was decent enough. I mean, you're sitting on like bricks, but it's good legroom. It's better legroom than Fenway. No, it was good. It was a good experience. It was nice to watch him play. It was nice seeing Jay Trev on the sidelines with his headset, getting all emotional when they made good plays and bad plays. So no, it was a good experience.
So you, Kevin, Chris was on the Harvard side, right?
Yeah, Chris was rooting for Harvard. Yeah. And then Tommy T was on the other side. he was maybe he was mad at me because we don't get him on the podcast, but he was ignoring me. I was trying to meet up with Tommy.
Yeah, you texted him and he said meet you. Did you meet him for tailgate or not?
No, he was ever since once I showed up, he was nowhere to be
He
found.
goes. So Tommy T, if you're out there, don't quit ghosting Jack at these games. Not fair. The other game, what?
Tommy T's torture is about to start because the Celtics are starting.
Oh yeah, the Celtics, and plus all those boys are in the top. We'll talk about that a little later. The game I want to bring up from 2 weeks ago was a disastrous game for my Temple Owls. They had the game won. First.
Oh yeah, that went viral. That did.
It's the second and goal from the 3 or the 2, and they don't punch it in, and they fumble it on the last play of the game. And UConn picks up, scoop and score from 99 yards. It didn't matter. It didn't cover. Temple actually first time they covered in a while. I don't know. I just my mouth just it's like, why are we back to where we were 10 years ago, 12 years ago? But this is the life of a Temple Owls football fan. You know, the irony is I think they're a 2.5-point favorite this week against Tulsa at home. It is homecoming. My supplementary pick is going to be, we're actually going to win that game outright and cover. So that's not my pick. My pick's still going to be Georgia, but I'm going to go with my Temple Owls winning their first another home game. Do you know that the coach has not won a road game in his 3 years? Can you believe that? Stan Drayton hasn't won one road game for Temple in 3 years.
That's one of those stats that happens when you're a terrible team. Like when you're like the doormat of college football, you get those stats where it's like,
that's what we seem to be. It'll be fun to watch this weekend. I'll actually.
Those are like it's like the anti-Celtic stats where it's like the Celtics are plus 100 in the last 3 games. It's like
until they
Temple
lost to Toronto last night. Until Toronto
half a decade.
That's really it. I had our picks. We've got 1 loss and Kevin's got 6. So that's all I care about. Doesn't matter.
No, that's too bad. That's a shame.
Kevin's got 7 rather. We got 6. That's really any other college football as we are back after a week of hiatus. Anything to look out for as we get into the meat of the conference schedules right now?
No, I'm just ready for Tom Brady. I'm just ready for Tom.
Tom, did you see that Tom will go in?
Why did I say that? I don't even know why I said Tom.
Well, because that's a good transition.
I'm sorry. I meant to say I'm ready for Nebraska, not Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom. I was thinking about the Tom Brady, all that stuff that came out today. Like he can't criticize other teams, or he can't even prepare for his job anymore because he's an owner. That's why I thought I was thinking Tom Brady. No, Nebraska. I'm just thinking about Nebraska college football. On to the NFL.
Transition to NFL. Tom Brady does call the big game this week, right? San Francisco, Kansas City. He's got.
Oh yeah, Mahomes.
Right?
Ooh. Yeah.
Is it a Fox game? No.
I think it is.
Is it a Fox
game?
It is. Still have 2 undefeated teams who didn't play. The Vikings and the Chiefs. I have to say this. You and I have talked about the NFL. I'm not going to go game by game today because I don't feel like it. It's ridiculous. The level of talent, the whole thing is just, it's a crap league. You know, a crap league. Watch the Jets. And the Jets I'm going to bring up in a minute, but I watched the Jets and the Bills game on the Monday night game, and you know, just I don't know, but the both teams picked up receivers, but I don't know. I just don't know. The Patriots. The other thing I want to bring up, the Drake got his first start. So let's go start
the
there.
Drake. That was the Drake. Yeah, he's throwing touchdowns. He's a lot better than Jacoby Brissett. No, we'll see. We'll see where they go from here. He's got a pretty easy schedule coming up, so we'll see. I like the Drake. And going off the Drake, like I said, you're talking about the NFL being crappy. I'm excited coming up. We got the Chiefs and the 49ers. I'm excited for that game. The Commanders are playing the Bears. I'm excited for those 2 quarterbacks. I'm excited for the Drake. So I got at least 3. This is like a record for me in October. I have 3 games this upcoming week that I'm excited to watch.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, the Drake's exciting. The Patriots still suck. They're bad. Getting the number 1 pick doesn't even help them. It's like the difference between the number 1 pick and the number 4 pick this year. It's not like it's like a big difference.
My guess if they get a high pick, they're going to take the Hunter kid. That would be it. That would be my guess. I mean,
not worth taking, but that's like, okay, that's the thing. It's like last year with the number 4 pick, you would have got Mark Harrison. This year with the number 1 pick, you'll get Travis Hunter. There's no difference in those 2 players. It's not like you're getting, like I said, like a Myles Garrett or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this week they're going to our favorite place in London, so we'll see what happens. I just think it's so funny because we live here, and it's like they're going to be Super Bowl contenders next week because he threw the 3 touchdown passes.
No one's saying that. No one's saying
you hear these people.
What are you talking about? People just talking about how bad they are. I didn't know.
Talk about bad. Everybody talking about how great he is. He's like the greatest thing.
He is. He's awesome. But they're not going to
that's the media yakking around. I'll be interested. The Jaguars stayed in London, so they've been home. They've been in London for 2 weeks, so they don't have to transition to the time and the food and all that shit. But
they still suck.
They do. They're really bad. That's bad. That's a bad team. And I'm just looking at the schedule. Houston versus Green Bay is a pretty good game. Buffalo's got Tennessee's, they'll win. Atlanta, Seattle, New York, Pittsburgh. Oh, God, there's some bad. Yeah. Ugh. Carolina at Washington. Ugh. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I will say this. It's exciting. I'll give Drake May a little credit. The top 3 picks in the draft, Williams is really starting to play really well. Jalen Davis playing really well. Drake May started, and Bo Nix got hurt, but he played well. So there's opportunity there. They don't all make it, and who knows. But with the Drakester, it's just it'll be interesting. I just think people in this town tend to overrate, just like with the Red Sox. They overrate like Houck has a great start, and he's going to be a Cy Young Award winner. And Cutter Crawford.
We run in different circles. I don't know what you're looking at. All I see in this
TV
town,
news.
all I see in this town is like Tony Mass. All I see.
You listen to that shit.
No, but that's what do you mean that that's all I see is him going. Like, I don't listen. I don't listen to that. But all I see is like I'm so tired of Boston teams sucking. It's like we have Banner night in a week. All I see is people being overly negative. You're going overly positive. I run in different circles.
I think if I look through the Globe headlines or the Globe articles.
Oh, the Globe. Yeah. What about Shaughnessy? What's Shaughnessy saying? They're going to win the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Shaughnessy saying at least there'll be more fun.
Correct, but he didn't say.
But the thing is, he has one game where he throws 3 touchdown passes and they lose 41-21. This is where I have a problem.
His fault. 21's
not his fault, but they still lost 41.
Turnovers were bad. No one's saying they're good. No one's. Yeah, obviously everyone knows the coach is an idiot. Whether people say that or not, everyone knows this coach isn't going to work out.
Crafty Bob. He's back.
Yeah, but whatever. We don't need to talk about the NFL anymore. Yeah.
Just 2 more things. Drake May. Will still be 4.5.
Oh, you know what's actually a funny thing before we move on? And they flexed out the Burrow versus Hurts game. They flexed it out. You see that? The NFL thing.
I saw that. Yeah.
So they flexed them out of the big spot.
Our 2 big guys.
For the 2 rookies. They flexed them out for Williams and Daniels, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's next week, not this week.
So yeah, our quarterbacks are doing great there.
Our quarterbacks are great. The other thing is the big trade. The Jets picked up Adams.
I could care less. Oh, I could care less.
Picked up Cooper.
Jets suck. He stinks.
Who? Amari Cooper?
No, Aaron Rodgers.
Amari Cooper wins the Bills.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That gives the Chiefs a little tougher competition, I think. I think it helps.
Okay. Whatever.
The Chiefs didn't pick anybody. On to Major League Baseball. Playoffs. We did have a really great series, Dodgers-Padres, where the Dodgers advanced, and the Dodgers then threw 2 bullpen games. 1 bullpen game there and 1 bullpen game in game 2. You picked the Mets to play the Tigers in the World Series. I picked the Guardians to play the Dodgers, so we both have at least people alive. I have 2 people alive, by the way. But I just want to go back to this. The Guardians, what kind of product are we putting on the field? They can't even catch a pop-up. And their manager's like in over his head. I still think if you're getting outmanaged by Aaron Boone, you suck. Chris just comes up. LSU -2.5 for Greco.
I just picked LSU. Whatever. All right. Aaron Boone and all this. The Guardians, all this garbage. The Yankees, this is horrendous. Them just beating up on the AL Central en route to their first World Series since I was like 10 years old. It's disgusting to me. The Guardians are, and you're blaming the Guardians. The Guardians are a disgusting team. I agree. But it's a bigger problem on the American League. What was the American League doing? What are the Red Sox doing? What were the Astros doing?
Well, I agree. I think
doing. How is this what the Yankees are playing? How are we not offering them more competition? It's embarrassing.
First of all, with the Yankees, their lineup is better, right? Their offensive line is better. And if Stanton's hitting like he's hitting, they're tough to beat. Cleveland, the Guardians, are built upon their bullpen, but you got to get to your bullpen. Alex Cobb gets hurt. The BB kid sucked. I mean, and Boyd's going to pitch next, and then I just don't get it. Maybe the Central was really a false narrative because all those teams beat up on the White Sox with their 17 games they played against them, and maybe we're just, again, the better teams might have been somewhere else. Like, you're right, the Red Sox would match up really well with this Cleveland team. Oh, he just said scratch that, Chris did. So we're getting this live. He wants UNLV now -7. So live, we're getting his picks in right away. UNLV -7. But again, I personally think it's going to be the Yankees Dodgers. I don't want a Subway Series. I don't need more New York shit. But the Dodgers again, they spend $1 billion and they have no pitching. What the hell? This is where, if you're Craig Breslow, you have to be smart. And you got to go, like I said, let's go. Max Fried was Giolito's roommate or high school teammate. Go bring Max Fried in as a free agent or a trade for him or whatever, and bring in Corbin Burns. Then you got your 1 and 2. And then you bring a right-hand hitter and you're done. Spend the money with him. I think that if the Yankees win, it forces Henry to get off his ass and start spending money. That's my prediction right now.
No, he doesn't care.
What's today's date? October 14th or 15th? I will say that's my October 16th. If the Yankees win, he's got to get off his schneid because you can't lose ground like that to the Yankees. But my biggest issue is the Cleveland Guardians. I mean, Garrett Cole couldn't throw a goddamn strike, although my buddy Paul McGilvery was bitching with me last night about umpires. When are we going to the robo-ump? Because this is ridiculous. The strike zone's floating all over the place. And Garrett Cole's, he's a shithead anyway, but go to the robo-umps and let's be done with this. I was watching the strike zone was all over. It's like up and down and in and out throughout a game. So both teams were shitting on. But the Yankees are trying to give them that game. And the Guardians just kept making mistakes. One final thing. Do you intentionally walk Juan Soto to get to Aaron Judge? Yes or
no? No.
So that's what Voigt did.
Oh, okay. Did it work?
Yeah. He had a sac fly. I don't know. The only time I would do that would be if you're in the 9th inning, they got runners on 2nd, 3rd, and you need to force it to plate or force anywhere with 1 out.
Oh, yeah.
You take your, but I'm telling you, Judge is going to line. The Judge is going to work he's not even going to try to hit a home run. He's going to try to lift the ball the outfield, get the run. I think that made it 3-0, and Cleveland never did come back on it. But if you get the Yankees Dodgers, you get a lot going. You get old time rivals. You get Shohei versus Judge. You get Mookie gets the big platform. You get 2 pitching staffs which are really, really ragged. So
if Mookie loses to the Yankees, I will boo him.
Are you going to boo Mookie?
Yeah. If he loses to the Yankees, for sure. That will mean a lot. Yeah. No. You can't. And I hate the Dodgers. I want the Dodgers to lose too. But I was kind of thinking the Dodgers are probably a safer bet to play the Yankees, and I'd just rather the Yankees lose than anything. So I guess I guess
what's funny is, as much as I hate New York, I wouldn't mind seeing the Mets win.
Yeah, I don't care about the Mets.
Because again, here's another situation where they're spending money. Whether he spent it smart or not, they're spending money. So it shows John Henry that, you do have the cash, you can spend the money. But I don't know. I just think, I don't want New York to be the center of baseball again. So I don't want a Subway Series. And I don't understand. One more question because you're not as old as I am, of course. But when did pitchers start in the postseason? When did pitchers start pitching 4 or 5 innings, starting pitchers? It's the game has changed. I don't mind because you win, but the game has changed so much, even in 10 years, that Johnny Lester in 2013 was throwing 6, 7 innings, getting you to the bullpen, only need 2 bullpen guys. Now you got 5 or 6 guys. You have to have 5 or 6 guys who are in your bullpen to be successful. If that's why Cleveland won the whole year, that's fine. But the Dodgers are going to fall because of that, I think. Yankees don't have the greatest starting pitching, but if Rodon pitches the way he did, they're going to be okay. Why can't these guys go 6 innings? It's killing bullpens. I don't know. You've lived with it your whole life, like a lot of the way the bullpen is operated. I think Paul, I'm going to mention McGilver again today. Again, second time. He did say that Jack Morris threw a 10-inning win to win the World Series when he pitched for Minnesota back against the Braves. And you'll never see that again. Louis Tiant died the other day. He threw 155 pitches in game 4 of the World Series, came back in game 6 after a couple of rain delays and pitched. So you're just not going to see that anymore. That's all. That's what old man yelling at clouds today for you.
Paul Skeens threw like 150 pitches in the College World Series.
And then he threw no more than 100 because they were protecting his arm. I think in the postseason, you get one shot to win, you got to win. Right? Take the chance to win.
No, you should lose.
Huh?
I said you should lose. That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Okay, give me as we speak here on Thursday the 16th.
I don't care. The Mets. I said the Mets. I don't care.
Stick with Mets Yanks or Mets Indians?
Yeah, obviously the Indians, the Guardians suck.
I'm gonna go the Dodgers, and I think the Yankees are gonna sweep them, so it doesn't really matter. But that's our baseball.
I think the Guardians are closer to the White Sox than they are the Yankees.
Well, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. That might hold on. I've had some really bad takes this year.
No, that's just how bad the Guardians are.
That is the worst take you could ever have.
They're just a waste of my time. Like, this is a waste of a championship series. This is a waste of a Yankee hate watch. They're a waste of time.
No.
Whatever. Next.
You just said the Indians are closer to the White Sox than they are the Yankees.
I agree. I think that would be a more competitive series. Next.
I'm gonna have to put this on our Instagram account.
Next.
You'll get all pissed off. Next to the NBA. So we're getting ready for banner nights coming up for the Celtics. They've been overwhelmingly picked by the GMs to be good. They've had pretty good preseason. I still think they're going to have to survive the regular season, keeping everybody healthy, especially the two bigs. But I look for them to roll. I don't think there's a team that can compete with them on a 7-game series if everyone's healthy or everyone's playing, not healthy, because nobody's ever healthy. But that's not I had to sit for a whole week on this bullshit that I wanted to figure out. LeBron James and Bronny James. What the hell? If you want to kiss his ass and his $50 million a year, and Rich Paul thinks this kid does not belong in the NBA, obviously. And then I just read they're going to start him on opening day to get all that bullshit out of the way. In all seriousness, let it go. Make him earn his way. He can't be a Nepo baby. It's ridiculous. I am so fed up with LeBron and Bronny James. I don't want to hear it anymore. You haven't won a goddamn championship except for the stupid one in the COVID stuff. I know you score 35 a game. I know you led us to the championship and the gold medal. But you know what? Dragging your kid into this, and if he's not ready to play, he's not ready to play. And in reality, you're taking a spot where somebody is ready to play just because it's your kid. If his name was Bronny Boyle, he'd have no shot. Take.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't care. It's whatever. You're going to keep hearing about it because they are going to play together in the regular season when it actually counts. So it's going to happen. Yeah, he's useless. That's a useless whatever. The Lakers, they're going nowhere. They're a poorly run franchise. Jerry West wishes he never played for them. The Celtics, they're the place to be right now. They're going to win so many games. They're fun to watch. They did lose the other last night in preseason. Yes, they've been winning games by 50. I mean, they're just too good. It's gonna be fun, and I'm ready for the season to start. All these guys we got.
We got Banner Night coming up, and it'll be fun. It's good. They should be.
Yeah. So I was thinking Banner Night. I was like, oh, they're actually gonna raise Banner. It's like I'm so locked in. It's like we're in the middle of it. We'll do Banner Night in 5 years.
Back to the media in Boston. It pisses me off. This not only if the Celtics were the Patriots, it would be whole. I just think the Patriots get their asses kicked and smoke blown up their ass too much. Celtics are the defending champions. And Banner Night's come up. And they destroyed people going through the chain. And still it's never good enough for everybody. And that's what pisses me off more than anything. It's never good enough.
It's good enough for me. And again,
listen, you bitch at me all the time.
It doesn't even bother me. It doesn't even bother me anymore, the criticism, because it's so stupid and irrelevant.
I agree with you, but why can't we just enjoy it?
They went 16 and I'm having no issue.
Not you. I'm not. But we have a 5-year stretch coming up here where we could be really good for 5 years.
They've already been good.
And everyone has to. I know we have. Finally, go over the top, and Tatum can't do this, and Brown can't do that, and this is that, and they're gonna be tired here. And bullshit. I just, and because the Knicks are pretty good, they're in New York, going to hear all that bullshit. And because everybody loves Joel Embiid, going to hear all that bullshit.
Brett Brunson's getting in fights. Ugh.
I saw that with Dante DiVincenzo. All right, final thing on the NBA, which we, I don't know how prepped you are for this. The top 100 have come out. The Ringer and ESPN put out top 100. You were absolutely right about. I thought Brown would be snubbed again this year. He ended up at 14th in both lists, actually. Still, I think might be a little too high. I think he should be too low. I think he should be 10 to 12. I think he's better than. I think Brunson made it ahead, and a couple other guys. And LeBron, Curry, and Durant are going to make the top 10. But they have not released those yet. But Celtics had 5 in the top 50, right? Right?
Yeah, they did 5. Yeah.
They didn't forget about Derek White this year.
No.
Ringer did not have Al Horford, and the ESPN did. I saw that. What do you think the top 5 is going to be?
I don't want to do this. I'm not prepared.
How much you want to do this? Tatum
No,
making
because I
top
was
five
just thinking
now.
about it. Yeah, he should be in the top 5, but who cares? It doesn't matter. It'll be like Luka Doncic, who had stunk in the finals and all
Well,
this.
it's going to be
All
Jokic
these
first.
I
Jokic
still
is
would. And Anthony Edwards or someone would be high. Like, yeah, I'm fine with Jokic and Giannis and those guys. And then after that, it's I don't know. Luka Don. If I
Luka
see
Doncic is going to be number 2.
I'm
telling
not.
you.
I'm not. Look, I don't care. The fighting Tatum and Brown and all these. It's not even. We won the championship. We're gonna win again. It's pointless. I'll fight the battle that if Luka Doncic is above Giannis Antetokounmpo, you got something wrong with you. You're not seeing the game the right way. You don't know basketball. You're in the Bobby Marks school of basketball knowledge. You know nothing. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about it.
Why
If
is Bobby
your
Marks
take
even
is I'd rather have Luka Doncic than Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're an idiot. You are, and you shouldn't be able to talk about. Bobby Marks picked the Pacers to beat the Celtics in 6. He won't stop talking. It's like I forgot what he said to start. He won't. Oh, the Knicks are the best.
What
He
trade did
won't
Bobby
stop.
Marks make?
He made the Brooklyn Nets trade, but like enough. At some point, you gotta stop, dude.
Well, you know what? I think
lost
some of
a
those
million
guys.
times.
I think guys like that, just like Felger Mess, they just blow weight to piss us off. That's all.
Well, he's got
The way I would think, and I'm going to shout Bill Simmons out tonight. He has his little trade thing, trade value. The way I would look at the top 15, if you want to look at, if would you trade Jaylen Brown straight up for LeBron James right now if you're the Celtics? The answer is no, right? Would you?
What?
No. You want a 50-year-old man because Bronny comes along with him? So look at it that way. Would you trade?
Yeah, if we get Bronny, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it. But again, I understand. There's nuances. Curry maybe but he's going to be done 2 years anyway.
I would not trade Jaylen Brown for Steph Curry. No way.
No, or Durant.
Yeah, no.
But who was the guy you wanted to trade him for the top 100?
I never wanted to trade Jaylen Brown.
Who was that guy? Come on, he was like 98.
What was it?
It
was Anthony
Simmons
in the 3rd pick, which ended up being that Scoot Henderson guy, who people say it's like one of the worst players in the history of the league. But I thought it was going to be Brandon Miller, and Brandon Miller's pretty good if he just doesn't kill people. What next? Okay, next topic.
Hold on.
Do we have anything else?
Number 100. Yeah, I do. Anthony Simmons or Simmons. It's Simmons, right? Portland guard.
I think it's Simons.
Hey, let me ask a question. Who are the 2 teams in the WNBA Finals?
I don't know. New York's playing Minnesota, right?
What are their nicknames? You
I don't know. Did I actually get that?
Got that right. I was stunned when you looked at me. I just listen. Who are the 2 teams in the NBA Finals?
That was one of the greatest gets ever.
That was a perfect. You pulled that out of your ass.
I don't know.
It's the Lynx versus the Liberty.
Well, I did see the first team came out and Caitlin Clark made it, so I was happy.
So again, Caitlin Clark is the draw. I mean, the Liberty got some great players. Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, who got trolled because she's.
See if I got.
Yeah, but you got it right. Again,
she got trolled because she pulled the Grant Williams. I saw.
No, she got trolled. No, not trolled. There was some FBI stuff because they threatened to kill her because she's gay and she has a baby.
Oh, you're talking about her missing the free throws.
No.
The free throws.
I got to shout another team. So Coach J. Rob, and I talked about it. I said to her, here's one of the top 5 players in the WNBA, and she bricks a free throw to win the game. That's just horrendous. And then not only that, in the first game, they were up 30. She drives the lane with an easy layup and misses the layup to win the game.
That's Grant Williams. I'm gonna make both.
That's here. I'm looking this up. See if they have it on here. No, they don't have it on here.
All right, what's next? I can't. Yeah, okay.
That's really it. I had WNBA. That's it. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else exciting happening in our world today.
I get all. Tennis keeps raging on. This center guy's
right. Tennis.
This center guy's dominating. Did you see what's happening? So they're playing in Saudi Arabia. They're in the semifinals already. It's Sinner versus Djokovic and Alcaraz versus Nadal.
Oh, that's good.
Alcaraz is playing Nadal one.
Alcaraz gets a walkover.
Yeah.
Finally, I do because you're
probably lose on.
I do because you're Mr. Premier League, and I do want to say we are going to go see a game because maybe 2 games, championship game and a Premier League game. Boyles takes over.
That's caused big stir over there. Ooh,
it did?
Not happy. Well, because what happened is they went with the 4 man. They had the guy who just died. Yeah, Thomas Stoichkol. They had the guy who just died, Sven. He coached them in the 2000s. He's Swedish. They reset. They're back to getting the English managers. They've reset the culture. Southgate did a great job. They made semifinals, finals of tournaments, things they hadn't done in years. And everyone's all mad because now they hired a foreign manager again. Oh, a German manager. Can you imagine that? A German manager managing the England national team? The fact of the matter is, and this is why a lot of the English people are mad. The English managers don't have good reputations. There's not an English manager out there that's like one of the top managers in the sport. Tuchel's better than any English manager. Like, at the end of the day, you got to be happy with it. I'm a little bit torn. I think it probably should be an English guy managing them. I know the US, it's a different situation with the USA because we're not a soccer nation, so we can hire whoever we want. But like with England, they are a soccer nation. I kind of get it. It is international football. It should be, your national team. But Thomas Tuchel is a good hire, and for me, he was one of the guys I was looking at if we do sack Ten Hag again. Now and I said this about Pochettino. He's another guy who's off the table now. So it's like, as from a Manchester United perspective, I'm a little bit lost. He was my number one. He was my guy. I was like, I think I'm at the point where I want to fire Ten Hag and hire Tuchel.
Didn't the U.S. men lose to Mexico the other night?
I don't know. I think they did. Yeah.
That doesn't matter. He pulls all the three best players didn't play. I think they were. He did make a point though. We talk about this. Pulisic is he's got to stay on the field. We got to keep him on the field because you don't win without him on the field. Messi and your boy Ronaldo they're in the twilight of the career, just like with the soccer players, just like your tennis guys. Who's the next Alcaraz center for professional soccer?
Oh, I don't know.
Think about that one. Kevin, if you're out
I don't know. Soccer's in a weird spot. It's a weird situation. Mbappe is like depressed in Spain right now. He's at a horrible start to his career in Madrid. He's a little bit older than that generation. You got the Yamal kid, the 17-year-old on Barcelona who went crazy for Spain this summer. So we'll see. They come up every once in a while. I don't know. I have no idea. There's I don't know. It's different.
I think it's different than tennis. It's a team sport, not an individual sport. So it's easier for Sinner and Alcaraz to be.
Well, back to tennis. It's the big thing is when is a Grand Slam going to be won by someone that isn't one of them? Now, if Sinner gets suspended,
I'm going to tell you there'll be.
I don't think it happens. I think next year they win them all again. I think they win them all again.
4 Grand Slams, one of those 2 won't win.
Like I said, they're at such a peak right now and at such a level where they won them all this year, and I think they'll win them all next year.
Okay, that's good. Is Man U going to be okay when we get over there? Or are we going to have a tournament?
No, we'll see. I don't even know who we're playing this weekend, but again, it's every game is like a final right now because every game is as dramatic as it gets.
He will not be. My take is Ten Hag won't be the manager when we go over there.
Yeah, but my take 2 weeks ago was Tuchel would be the manager of Man United when we went over. So he's the manager of England going. He's got all the great quotes. He's like, and there's a great quote from Pele. He quoted Pele about how Wembley's like the center of football, like the home of football, Wembley. Ooh.
That's good to hear.
We'll see. He's a good manager. They gotta win. Look, they have to win the World Cup. It's World Cup or bust for them. They're at that level. They had that.
Yeah, I think with all those countries, European and South American countries that are good, that's always the case.
No, it's not. Nope. England it's been, we'll make the semifinal. We'll be happy with that. Right? They never expected really. Yeah, they won in 1966. They've never really expected to win turn. They've always been the level below like a Germany and Italy, a France, a Brazil, and an Argentina. I don't know. They're not anymore though. The talent that they're on that level.
If the Premier League is this league, that's the best league, and everyone's.
Well, it is. I'm saying it is. Yeah.
So, what causes England never be good for 50 years?
I don't know. Well, the Premier League. It's not like the Premier League's been the best league since 1966.
Okay.
I think the Italian. I think until probably like the early 2000s, Italy might have probably been the best. That had the best league. So like.
Okay, I got you. Okay, that's good.
It's not like it's always been like that.
Like I said, I'm looking forward to my trip over there with you. It'll be fun. We saw a game in Southampton. I did get to see Ronaldo play. And we're going to see Everton play Man U at Old Trafford, which will be neat, even though you said stadium's a piece of shit. But we'll enjoy the experience. Hopefully we'll make that championships game with, who is it, Leeds versus Blackburn Rovers. So we got a lot going on. That's not for another month. I am going away next week to Florida, so we might do a show on Monday night before I leave, or we'll do a show when I'm down there out of the studio. Hopefully we get in the new studio on Monday. Just want to remind Jack's take this week was Cleveland is closer to Chicago White Sox than they are the Yankees, which I think is an awful take. What?
Kevin, and then real quick, they did just of net ratings. The preseason MVP came out. It was Peyton Pritchard. He was the best player in the NBA in the preseason.
All right, so we'll get Kevin. Kevin, if you're out there, once you start listening to this, I'll have it up hopefully tonight. We need to get your pick. I know you're 0-7, but you might be able to come back and win to go to 5-7 if you're lucky. But again, that bat is not going to go to your house anytime soon. So episode 53 is about a wrap. Like I said, you can see we're still at home. Hopefully we'll be back in the new studio next week, which for at Studio WCTV. So for Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Episode 53 is a wrap. It all boils down to this. We'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.